2016 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans choose Derrick Henry, running back, Alabama.
Welcome to American Baller, where we focus on all things NFL. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos. Despite still being one of the most talented running backs in the entire league at 30 years old and putting together a Hall of Fame caliber resume, no one respects Derrick Henry. This is a player who went on to carry an entire team for over half of a decade and was recently the most talked about player in the league at his position. But despite putting up some of his best numbers in years, Derrick Henry is flying completely under the radar. Today, we'll break down some of the most important moments from his elite career, his offseason move to the Baltimore Ravens, and why no one is giving him the respect that he deserves this season. The slow start to his career with the Tennessee Titans. Derrick Henry was the 45th overall pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, sliding all the way to the second round before the Tennessee Titans got an absolute steal that would change the trajectory of their franchise through the late 2010s and early 2020s. Shockingly, even though he was a second-round pick, Henry didn't see the field too much in his rookie season. While he did play in 15 games, he was the team's second-string running back, playing behind DeMarco Murray. This led to him only picking up 490 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground in his rookie season. This trend continued in the 2017 season, with Murray continuing to dominate the starting spot. Despite this, Henry was beginning to outplay him even with a limited role. Murray finished the season with 659 yards and 6 touchdowns on 184 carries, while Henry picked up 744 yards and 5 touchdowns on 176 touches. The Titans made the postseason with a record of 9-7, and with Murray suffering a knee injury in Week 16, Henry was finally given the opportunity he had been waiting on for almost 2 years. With the backfield to himself in the Titans' wildcard matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs, he went to work, picking up 156 yards and a touchdown on 23 carries in his playoff debut. Tennessee went on to need every yard they got out of their young running back in this matchup, narrowly escaping by a final score of 22-21. Despite this very strong debut against the Chiefs, Henry was unable to keep his foot on the gas in the divisional round against the New England Patriots. He was held in check, rushing for only 28 yards on 12 carries, establishing himself as the best running back in the league. Despite this very quiet game to end the 2017 season, Henry had shown more than enough to earn a starting spot heading into 2018. But early on in the season, it appeared as if he was not cut out for the moment and went on an atrocious 9-game run. Over the Titans' first 9 games of the season, Henry couldn't get anything going, picking up only 358 yards and 4 touchdowns on 101 carries. Over this span, he didn't eclipse the 60-yard mark on the ground in a single game. Things got so bad that the coaching staff went as far as benching him for a 4-game span. Henry was eventually given a second chance, and with his NFL career potentially on the line, he made the most of it. He had his breakout performance in Week 14 when the Titans took on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Henry could not be contained in this matchup, picking up 238 yards and 4 touchdowns on only 17 carries. This still stands as not only the best game of Henry's career, but also one of the best single-game performances from a running back in NFL history. Henry joined Cookie Gilchrist, Mike Anderson, Corey Dillon, and Doug Martin as the only players in league history to rush for 238 yards and 4 touchdowns in a game. To put the cherry on top of this matchup for Henry, he had a monstrous 99-yard touchdown run for one of his 4 scores. He outscored the Jags by himself in this matchup, with the Titans coming out on top 30-9. The following week, he kept up his hot streak, rushing for 170 yards and a pair of touchdowns and a 17-0 win. These 2 games were the catalyst of Henry breaking the 1,000-yard mark on the ground for the first time in his career, finishing the season with 1,059 yards and 10 touchdowns. Following this elite stretch through the tail end of the 2018 season, Henry had silenced any doubters that he still had and spent the entirety of 2019 as the Titans' starting running back. Not only did he take over as the focal point of Tennessee's offense, he established himself as the best running back that the league had to offer. Head coach Mike Vrabel was willing to ride Henry until the wheels fell off, and he finished the season with an insane 303 carries. He made the most of these touches, going for 1,540 yards and 16 touchdowns on the ground. He went on to lead the league in rushing attempts, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. This earned him the first Pro Bowl appearance of his career. Shockingly, Henry was snubbed from the All-Pro first team spot, losing out to Christian McCaffrey, but he was still named to the All-Pro second team. On the back of an elite breakout year from Henry, the Titans made a return to the postseason. In the wildcard round, he got his get back on the New England Patriots, rushing for 182 yards and a touchdown in the 20-13 win. In the divisional round, Henry once again couldn't be stopped, rushing for 195 yards. While he failed to find the end zone on the ground, he did throw one pass for a 3-yard touchdown. Tennessee shocked the football world with this improbable 28-12 win, punching their ticket to the AFC Championship. In the conference championship game, they matched up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Henry did rush for a touchdown in this game, but he was held in check, only picking up 69 yards. Without a game-breaking performance from Henry, the Titans were sent home 35-24. Even after winning the Triple Crown in 2019, Henry had his sights set on even bigger things in 2020. He went on to have one of the best single-season tears a running back has ever had in NFL history, going off for 2,027 yards and 17 touchdowns on 378 carries. Once again leading the league in all three statistical categories. Along with this, he became only the 8th running back in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards in a season. This earned him another Pro Bowl selection, an All-Pro First Team nod, and he brought home the Offensive Player of the Year award. He once again carried the Titans to the postseason, where they took on the Baltimore Ravens in the wildcard round. This time, Baltimore had an answer for Henry, and he was held to only 40 yards on the ground. As a result of this, the Titans fell by a final score of 20-13. In 2021, all the wear and tear from the previous 2 seasons had finally begun to catch up with Henry. He suffered a broken foot that left him only able to play in 8 games during the regular season. Despite this, he was still able to suit up for the Titans' divisional round matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. It was clear that he was still feeling the effects of the injury and was held to 62 yards and a touchdown on 20 carries. For reference, the Tennessee backup running back Deontay Foreman was able to pick up 66 yards on 4 carries. Without the heart of their offense playing at a superstar level, the Titans fell by a final score of 19-16. Despite being just 1 season removed from a broken foot, Henry had a return to form in 2022. The Titans coaching staff did not learn from the mistakes that led to his injury the season before, and he received 349 carries, leading the league in this statistic. He was able to pick up 1,538 yards and 13 touchdowns on the ground, making a return to the Pro Bowl. Henry's final season in Tennessee came in 2023, where even with a reduced workload, he still led the league with 280 carries. With a depleted offensive line and there being almost no threat of a passing game, opposing defenses were able to stack the box and heavily play against the run. Despite this, Henry was still able to rush for 1,167 yards and 12 touchdowns. But it was clear that if he ever wanted a chance to finish his career with the Super Bowl, it was time for him to take his talents elsewhere. Finally breaking free from the Titans. And this is exactly what he did. He signed with a run-heavy team in the Baltimore Ravens on a 2-year, $16 million deal. While Henry was the heart of the Titans and he had made history with the team, he was at a point in his career that sticking around on a rebuilding team made no sense for either side. He'll still go down as one of, if not the best player to ever don a Titans jersey. The hype heading into the 2024 season. Following this signing, fans could not wait to see Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry share a backfield. Jackson is arguably the most talented dual-threat quarterback that the game has ever seen. Pairing him with the best running back of the era was a match made in heaven, especially in Baltimore's run-heavy offense. Henry escaping the limelight despite another great season. Even though he's sharing the offense with a player like Jackson, Henry's still well on his way to amassing more rushes in 2024 than he did in 2023. 13 games into the season, he's already run for 1,407 yards and 13 touchdowns on 240 carries, leading the league in rushing touchdowns. Despite being 30 years old this season, he's continued to hang around as one of the top backs that the league has to offer. While he's been outplayed by Saquon Barkley this season, even being in the conversation at his age after all the carries he has under his belt and the wear and tear that comes with it speaks volumes of just how talented of a back that Henry is. Along with leading the league in rushing touchdowns, he also ranks second in rushing yards, behind only Barkley on only the third most carries in the league. It is insane that Henry is still playing at this high of a level, averaging over 108 yards per game. Why nobody respects Derrick Henry? Despite this elite season at 30 years old from Henry, it seems like no one cares or is giving him the respect that he's earned. There are three major reasons for this. The first being that as a result of just how long Henry has been this good, football fans around the world have begun to become accustomed to it, which truly is a shame. He's the last of a dying breed as a true ground-and-pound workhorse power back. Secondly, he's sharing the spotlight with Lamar Jackson. This is the first time in his career that it could be argued Henry is not the most talented player in his offense since the 2017 season. With Jackson coming off of his second MVP and having spent almost the entire season in the 2024 MVP conversation, it has led to Henry being forgotten about and overshadowed. Finally, because of just how good of a season Barkley has had, it's led many to look over just how dominant Henry has been this season and how seamless his transition into the Ravens offense has been.
Thank you for tuning in to American Baller. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos.